Number 11. Rhoda Wagner. 60-year-old Rhoda Wagner was taking care of 3 pit bulls as a favor to her roommate, Carla Mae Snow. The 3 dogs had been living at their place for over a month when on July the 28th of 2021, a fight broke out between 2 of them. When Wagner came across the fighting dogs, she attempted to step in and break them up, but all she did was get caught in the fight. When the authorities were finally called to the scene, they saw Wagner's mauled, dead body in the front yard, circled by the 2 pit bulls. Snow had to authorize the 2 dogs involved to be euthanized, but was adamant that her best friend, a pit bull advocate, wouldn't have supported the decision. The county's animal response team was brought in to capture the dogs. Number 10. Sophie Rosser. On August the 26th of 2012, Sophie Rosser was returning home to her flat in East London when she called her dad to chat in the cab. It was past 1 in the morning, so he told her that he was heading to bed and that he'd phone her in the morning. Unbeknownst to him, the conversation would become the last time he heard her voice. Just 20 minutes after hanging up, Sophie arrived at the apartment complex she shared with her boyfriend, Oscar Silva, and a roommate, to see it engulfed in flames and smoke. She frantically called her boyfriend, who was still inside their 5th floor apartment, before running inside to help him and anyone else still left. After being notified of the fire, her boyfriend and their roommate had taken the fire exit to the 1st floor before being met with a wall of smoke that forced them back upstairs. Resigned to calling for help on their balcony, Silva watched as a fireman exited the building with Rosser hanging over his shoulder, unmoving. She was rushed to the hospital, where she died later that day. Both Silva and their roommate were safely rescued by fire crews. A post-mortem examination revealed Rosser died from severe burns to her airways from trying to force her way through the thick smoke. She made it to the 4th floor before collapsing. Number 9. Roberto Cornejo Fletes. Roberto Cornejo Fletes was minding his own business on the weekend of June the 6th of 2021 when he noticed a concerning struggle between a man and a woman. But as he attempted to intervene and help the latter, he was fatally shot and left to die. The shooter was Shane Raymond, who had come to his ex-girlfriend's house to allegedly try and kidnap her. He got away with her but was caught days later at a traffic stop. Fletes' efforts hadn't been in vain, as Jenny Downs, Raymond's ex, was found in the car with him, battered and bruised, but still alive. Raymond was arrested and charged with 6 felony counts, including murder and kidnapping. Number 8. Arnulf Salazar. 53-year-old Arnulf Salazar from Surrey, Canada, was visiting a lake in the Fraser Valley on July the 17th of 2021 when his 10-year-old son drifted off into the deeper water. Autistic and non-verbal, Zach wasn't aware that the lake had a steep underwater drop-off. Immediately, as Zach started to struggle in the deep water, his father went after him to help. Another onlooker soon swam out to offer assistance. After seeing and hearing commotion in the water, the onlooker got a good stronghold on Zach and dragged him to shore, occasionally looking back to see Salazar, who seemed like he was managing. However, as he made it safe to land, he looked back again and Salazar was nowhere to be seen. The father of 4 was eventually recovered by a diver who was at the scene, and family members performed CPR on him for an hour and a half, while emergency services tried to reach the remote location. Unfortunately, he didn't survive, but his heroic actions had saved his young son's life. Number 7. Jacqueline Watts. In 2017, as she was preparing to leave for Washington to visit her husband, Jacqueline Watts dropped her pets off at a relative's house. She was scheduled to leave that night but never made it home and missed her flight. Her family notified the authorities and her car was located the same night. It had been left abandoned on the road by a river, with its ignition still on and the emergency lights flashing. All her personal belongings were inside and the passenger door stood ajar, but there was no sign of a struggle or of anything stolen. The only clues the authorities had was multiple witness reports that stated they'd seen her chasing a dog in a little white sweater. Searching the area, they discovered her and the dog's bodies washed along the shore of the river. Both had died of drowning. The 33-year-old was an avid animal lover, and her determination to save a life came as no surprise to friends and family. The dog was identified as Ringo and had been missing since the weekend. Number 6. Miranda Birdsall. In 2017, Miranda Birdsall was on an extended holiday to Switzerland from Australia to spend time with her partner, One day she set out with a close friend to cycle around Lake Beale when the duo heard a scream from the water's edge. They spotted a woman who appeared to have been trying to save her dog from the water when she herself fell in. Miranda was the first to arrive and immediately climbed a railing to reach out to the woman while her friend went to a nearby restaurant for help. What none of the victims realized at the time was that there was a major electrical fault in the supply chain to the marina, which sent electrical currents through the railing and water. A post-mortem examination revealed that the deaths had come quickly and none of them had suffered. Miranda's 3 children, who were still back in Australia, were proud of their mother's selflessness and weren't shocked by her actions. Number 5. Fola Jimmy Olabumi Adewole. On April the 24th of 2021, around midnight, a young woman was seen falling from a London bridge into the River Thames. 2 men dove into the water to rescue her before emergency services had to be called to save all 3. The Coast Guard and the police marine units were able to successfully save the woman and one of the men, but the third unidentified man could not be found despite the use of helicopters and multiple rescue teams. The next morning at around 6 a.m, the body of Fola Jimmy Olabumi Adewole was found and his family was notified of his heroic efforts. Number 4. Lucy Knight. 43-year-old Lucy Knight was outside a shopping centre in Auckland, New Zealand, on September the 23rd of 2015, when a man tried to steal a woman's purse right in front of her. Good Samaritan Knight, noticing the theft, tried to intervene, but the culprit punched her in the back of the head, sending her tumbling to the ground. The impact fractured her skull and caused a brain bleed. The mother of 6 spent the next month undergoing 2 surgeries to relieve the pressure in her brain and replace the broken bone with a titanium plate. 17-year-old Hendrix Huawai, who was reported as having had a rough upbringing, was arrested and charged for the incident. A judge sentenced him to 4 years and 9 months behind bars. Number 3. Gary Davis. In early January of 2021, 36-year-old Gary Davis's dog escaped and fell down a hole in a field and got trapped. Unwilling to leave his dog to die, the Welshman decided to dig his way into the hole to free it, but as he did so, a mound of earth collapsed on top of him. There was enough earth to bury him, and he was crushed until emergency services arrived. He was pulled out of the hole and rushed to the hospital, where he died 5 days later. A post-mortem examination revealed he died from traumatic brain injury, while no news on the dog's fate was reported. Today's topic was inspired by EK602 and Dark Matter. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Number 2. Leonie Hansen. An open water diving instructor, Leonie Hansen was taking a student out on the Mornington Peninsula in Australia on June the 9th of 2016 when they ran into an emergency. Desperate to save her student, witnesses on the shore heard her screaming for help from just off the pier. A local restaurant owner by the name of Robert DeSantis ran over to try and help, reporting to police that Hansen was holding up another unconscious diver, yelling at him to hold him. The duo struggled in their gear, but Hansen refused to let go of her student, even when given the chance to save herself. DeSantis couldn't hold them both and watched them slip under the choppy water as Hansen let go of the life ring from pure exhaustion. Hansen had been a certified instructor for almost a year, and their deaths were not treated as suspicious. Number 1. Franziska Stegbauer. In April of 2009, officers were called to a home in Indianapolis to find 3 people suffering from serious stab wounds. The most severe of the injuries had been inflicted on 77-year-old Franziska Stegbauer, who was not breathing when the police arrived at the scene. According to reports, a sword fight had broken out between her grandson and brother-in-law when Franziska tried to step in. Her wounds were fatal, and although police weren't completely sure who dealt the final blow, her 39-year-old grandson, Chris Rondeau, was arrested for attempted murder and held at a hospital detention unit. Franziska's brother-in-law was also rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Thanks for watching. What's the most heroic thing you have ever done in your life? Let us know in the comments section below.